What's going on? Big A, the Manky Geek, coming at you with another video. And this one is a video that I've been meaning to do for a very long time, and that is the Luke Cage Season 2 overview slash review. I said I'd do it ages ago, and then I didn't do it, and then I thought, well, I don't think anyone wants it, so I probably won't do it. And then it turns out that people do want it, so I've decided to actually do it, actually get it done and put it out there. I watched the show kind of like when it first hit over a few days. So 5 episodes I believe I did on a Friday, then I did another 5 on the Saturday and left the remaining 3 for the Sunday. I didn't binge it all in one night. I wanted to kind of like savor the goodness, if you will. So I kind of spreaded it across 3 nights in total. And yeah, it actually turns out that I remember the show pretty well. So although I've not rewatched the last episode like I said I would, I believe I still should be able to do this overview. Mainly just talk about like characters and certain things that I liked about the show, and then you can get involved as well in the comments by saying as to what you liked and what you didn't like and like what you expect from the show in the future. Obviously there will be spoilers in the video because I can't talk about the show without spoilers really, to be honest, since it is kind of an overview slash review. So yeah, I think it's time to get right into it. So season 1 Luke Cage, really enjoyed, thought it was really good. I like Luke Cage as well when he was introduced into the MCU, Netflix or whatever you want to call it. In Jessica Jones, I really like that introduction as well, and how he became like part of a wider story that led into Defenders. So yeah, overall I like season 1. I did think Luke himself, his attitude as a character was a bit soft, but I kind of understood that because he was trying to keep things low key. So it actually wasn't that bad and played into the kind of like the story pretty well. So it was actually fine, the fact that he was kind of a bit soft in a way and particularly didn't really want to expose his powers and all that kind of thing. So we get into season 2 and straight away Luke is much more of a badass, much more kind of abrasive, straight to the point, cuts the bullshit, but he's still a likable guy. And that's what I really enjoy about him. I think a moment that is an example of that is the bit where he's talking to the guy who vlogs him, whatever his name is, that kid, and he's saying to the camera like, you can't burn me, you can't shoot me, and all that kind of stuff. And he's just got this attitude when he's saying it like, are you really gonna try stuff with me, Luke Cage? I can't be hurt. And it was just that attitude from the get-go. It was just like, yeah, that's more in keeping with what I'd want to see from a Luke Cage, more kind of attitude, but he's not arrogant about it. He's just straight to the point and no bullshit, which is what I really liked. It was something that, it's not drastic, but it was something that was enough for me to kind of like just go, yeah, sweet, cool, I'm down. So yeah, Luke in the character has changed a tiny bit, but not a lot, but it makes total sense. I didn't particularly like the Luke Cage app. I thought that was kind of dumb. I was like, really? You don't need an app to kind of figure out where he is. Someone could use like Twitter and geotag their tweet to say where he was. So the app was kind of redundant, but I get it though. It's like a whole thing, a whole Luke Cage thing. And although it was a little bit cheesy, I kind of dug it. I also liked the kind of t-shirts that are being sold with like his name on it, and like I'm sure one said hero for hire and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, Luke as a character, he's the same, but he has a little more edge. Like, I really like the episode where he had to, so he could earn some money, he had to go to Piranha's party and like just be there, make an appearance, and they were making him do stupid things like the bit where he's tried to shoot him and all that kind of business and the bullets bounce off and all that. I thought that was really good, and I just liked that idea of Luke needs money. How's he gonna get money? By doing an appearance. I thought that was like, it was just great. It just made sense. It's like he needs money, so he's gonna do these kind of things because someone's trying to sue him because he beat them up pretty savagely as well. And yeah, I just really like Luke as a character. I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't, because at the core of him, it isn't about the money. I mean, he needs money for things, but at the core of him is a good guy who just wants to kind of like aid the community really, and like keep the peace and stop people getting hurt, which I don't know as to how you can't not like that about the guy. But yeah, Luke is essentially the same, but a little bit different, a little bit more edge, but he's still a good guy at heart. And that's what he pretty much remains throughout, kind of, because it gets, at the end, it gets a bit different, but I'll get into that towards the end of the video. Moving on, Bushmaster or Bushmaster. Love the guy. Fuck it. Like, as soon as when he got shot and he took all those bullets to the chest and then he just wasted everyone, I was just like, oh, this guy's gonna be wicked. And just the fact that he's so, his tactic of like going, you know what, people love this Luke Cage guy, I'm gonna take him out first so people know that I'm not messing about. I just loved that. So like when he just rolled up to him on the street and just like mashed him up, it's like Luke was in shock. You know what I mean? Luke was in shock that he got his ass kicked, and it didn't take a Judas bullet to do that. It was just a guy. And I like that Bushmaster's powers are something completely natural. He's kind of like the opposite of Luke. Like, his powers come from the earth, come from that herb, that plant. And it's seen as something supernatural by the people that use it, but it's actually natural. Whereas Luke is entirely, what he is entirely like scientific. It's all science, so it's kind of like opposing nature and science, kind of opposing one another. I thought that was like an interesting contrast. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that or not, but I like that one was nature, the other's science, and they're kind of going at it with each other. And I love the bit where that bridge fight between the two of them, that was so good. But yeah, back to Bushmaster. Every time when someone said Mariah Dillard and he went Stokes, Mariah Stokes, it always just let you know that, look, he's been screwed over in the past. Not just screwed over, he's had his entire life changed because people who were meant to be, I guess, his family's allies turned their backs on them, and then also tried to get rid of him as well in like the nastiest of ways. And he's coming back to like take Harlem, and he's pissed off, but he is focused, and nothing is gonna stop the guy. And you kind of like, he's another one of these villains where you kind of go, what he's doing, I don't agree with, but the people he's doing it to kind of deserve it. He is kind of right in a way, but he's also wrong. And I do like that about a good villain. In comparison to last season, what we got with Cottonmouth, he got taken out so early that I was like, wait, is the show not gonna have a villain anymore? But then we find out stuff about Diamondback. It's revealed who Diamondback is. And then it's got a villain again, but it has to have that kind of like a rebuild, is to, because like usually expect the villain to be there from the beginning to the end. You don't expect a villain to get taken out halfway and then get replaced by another villain, because we were all led to believe that Cottonmouth was going to be the main focal point for the villain, but it turns out that it wasn't. Whereas you've got Bushmaster all the way through this, and you've got other villains dotted about there as well, but he is the main focus. And he is great, and he's kind of, he is a bad guy, but he's kind of the good guy in a way, because yeah, Mariah and her crew, they're horrible. They're criminals also, so you can't like go, oh well, he's bad for trying to take out these people, but they're all in that criminal world, so everyone's kind of like fighting against each other, and it's like there's so much going on in the show. It's just nuts. But yeah, Bushmaster as a villain, I think was great, and he wasn't one note, and he was kind of likable. And likable villains, I kind of enjoy watching them a bit more. It's just a little bit more interesting. So I did mention Mariah Dillard Stokes a moment ago, and the actress who plays her, she's phenomenal. Like, she's so good. She's so good at that role. She just plays like the biggest, nastiest, like horrible, vile, scheming, conniving person. And again, it's done so well that you go, I like what you're about, but I also dislike you as well. And the actress is just great at playing that character. It's like, I was sad to, obviously, like I said earlier, spoilers, so I was sad to see that character go at the end. But every time she came on screen, I was like, man, I'm getting ready for some like villain nastiness. It's like you can almost hear the witch cackle when she's plotting things and when she's scheming, and just the way she like used her daughter for public appearances, like for politics in the local community and all that kind of stuff. You're like, man, you're sad. You did not want anything to do with your daughter when she was into like holistic medicine and all this kind of business. But then later on you find out that Mariah's kind of like, there's a tragedy in her backstory because something extremely horrible happened to her, and she had a baby to someone she's like blood related to, it was her uncle, and her daughter, who the daughter thought was the dad, isn't the dad. It's Mariah's uncle who's actually the dad. So it's like incest, a child of incest, and it's just like that's you can't kind of blame her for like rejecting her daughter, because her daughter comes from something horrible that happened to her. And it's like that complexity of the character is just like, again, it's just another case of the good writing in Luke Cage, that you go, you know what, well done, like you played it well, like you've given us a good story and something quite shocking, and you've explained why someone is the way that they are, and it's just written so well, it's just done so well, and it's played honestly. It's not done in kind of, I think, a nasty way or anything like that. It's kind of played serious, and you can't help but respect that kind of writing, like they did Wicked on that. But yeah, Mariah again is another one of the villains. Brilliant story for the whole character, pretty much. Shades was interesting because he had his mate who was a snitch, pretty much realized that it was him who was snitching, killed him, and then later on it's revealed that they may have had a relationship in prison. So Shades may be bisexual or prison gay. I don't even know what properly the term prison gay means, but I'm assuming it means you engage in activities with the same sex even though you're not attracted to them. I don't know, that's just a guess. But yeah, he's had relations with that guy, but then they're also best friends as well, so kind of like he loved him in a friend's way also. And it was just like, just the whole thing of like having to kill his best mate messed him up, like it tore him up, like he was doing crazy stuff, man. But yeah, Shades is another good kind of like additional villain to have in there. Claire's like the Coulson of the Netflix shows. She brought everyone together. So to see her kind of leave early on and not come back pretty much was odd for me, because I thought, because obviously with her and Luke in a relationship, and obviously she kind of breaks it off and she's like, oh, I'm leaving for a bit, blah, blah. I do feel like it needed a little bit more Claire. I don't know. I mean, if that relationship is over, you know, then have it like properly be over and finished. But I'd hate to see Claire leave these shows, just because everyone likes Claire, everyone likes Night Nurse. Ever since Daredevil season 1, everyone's always liked her. She's cool. She brought all these characters together. Like I said, she's the Coulson of the Netflix shows. And she just, Claire, everyone likes Claire in it. It's just like, come on now, Claire, more Claire. Oh, hopefully she is in, wait, no, she wasn't in Punisher, was she? I don't remember seeing her. Or did she make one appearance and then get off? But anyway, I hope she's in Daredevil season 3. I hope to God she's in that. But yeah, man, Claire. Oh, Claire. Misty Knight. Now, she had a great story as well. Like the whole kind of rehabilitation with like the arm, getting back in the force, solving that case that she was involved with. Yeah, I like Misty. I thought she was going to become 100% kind of like the information broker kind of character that she's in 616 Marvel Comics. But she was, you know, she remains on the Force. I think she remained on the Force. I should have watched that last episode, shouldn't I? Let's just say she remained on the Force, on the police force. and she was doing her police thing, and she was doing it well, and it was her. I liked her and Colleen like meeting up, and you know, Colleen helping her in that bar fight, so Misty can like get back on her feet and kind of get back in it and realize that she can still do stuff. She's not the helpless individual she seems to think she is. But yeah, again, Misty, pretty much the same character that we got in season 1, but they moved her along, they put her through a struggle, and yeah, it totally worked, man. It was good. Now, I think my favorite episode was the one in which Danny Rand shows up. Now, a lot of people didn't like Iron Fist for XYZ reasons, especially in the media. Like, a lot of the reviews were kind of lukewarm to bad, whereas normal people who watched it tended actually to like it quite a lot. I'd seen a lot of people say it's one of the best ones out of the Marvel Netflix shows. Me personally, it left a lot to be desired, because I'd grown up around like watching a lot of like martial arts movies and that, and I absorbed that. And I especially absorbed like the choreography and the way like fights are filmed. And I didn't get a sense of any of that kind of like Asian influence in regards to the filming of the fights in Iron Fist whatsoever. So it didn't really do it for me, and I didn't even think the fights were all that either. It left a lot to be desired for me, like I said. And Danny Rand as a character as well was quite whiny. I didn't like how whiny he was. And in the Defenders, he was less so. But in Luke Cage season 2, Danny Rand is almost perfect. Like, I imagine him being kind of like the Zen dude kind of character, but not too much of a hippie. He's just a pretty mellow, cool guy who you can get on with, and he's the immortal Iron Fist. That's what it appeared like when he walked in, and him and Luke were like, you know, chatting to one another and being cool with one another. I liked the way they wrote Danny Rand was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed seeing Luke and Danny together. And it kind of made me go, you know what, if they actually don't continue with saying Iron Fist or Luke Cage beyond the seasons that they're getting, I wouldn't actually mind seeing a Heroes for Hire. Just those two team up in a mini-series, like a 6-episode mini-series of them two teaming up and setting up Heroes for Hire. I'd actually quite like to see that, because I think those two actually work well together. And I also think that they've got those characters down. I hope the Danny Rand that we saw in Luke Cage season 2 is the Danny Rand that we'll see in Iron Fist season 2, because it was quite a vast improvement. And like I said, it was just fun to see them working together and being bros in it. You know what I mean? They're boys in it. They're being bros, hanging out, going to a factory, kicking some ass. It was just good. I just liked seeing those two together. And yeah, I didn't expect there to be a whole episode pretty much of their team up, but it was a nice like little pit stop. And yeah, I think that was it was one of the stronger episodes, because it just took it to a different place that I didn't expect before. Obviously, things get rolling again and things get a bit crazy. Now, the choreography of the show, Luke is a brawler in it, so his style of fighting hasn't changed that much. It's still him picking things up, throwing things, one-hitter quitters, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I liked it. But what we had to contrast that was the kind of capoeira style of Bushmaster. So when it was those two fighting on the bridge, man, that fight was so good, because Luke was getting stunned every now and again, but then, you know, he was giving it back. So it was just a great fight to see these two different styles, the brawler style and the capoeira style, go up against one another. And yeah, you know, I do wish there was a little bit more of stuff like that, of them facing off one another, because I feel a lot of the show was Luke searching for Bushmaster, and Bushmaster just appearing at places and like doing things and threatening people. But yeah, the choreography I liked. I know it keeps things simple, but it's still, they still somehow make it interesting. Even though the brawler style isn't like the most fast-paced fighting style there is, it is still interesting. I don't know how they're gonna kind of keep that up for season 3, if we get a season 3, because I saw a lot of the same moves, like the one where he slaps people on the head and they're unconscious. I saw that one a lot. But But yeah, it works for me. It makes sense. Luke Cage is dope. So yeah, the ending of the show was interesting. So it gets to a point where kind of it's clear that Mariah's losing control, right? And then it's also clear that like Bushmaster is going to take over. And things get a bit like crazy, and the different kind of groups running New York, it seems like they're going to go to war and take over the Harlem territory and all that kind of business. And then Luke, in order to save Harlem, he has to become the very thing he's been fighting against. And that is kind of like, I didn't see that coming. The fact that he had to step into those shoes and fill the void. And because he's such a powerhouse, no one will mess with him or Harlem. So in order to protect it, he had to become the very thing that he despises, or fought against rather. But it'll be interesting to see if that will change him as a character in the next series or whatever else comes after this. Because surely being in that position will change him. We've already seen that it made him more cold when he was told that Claire was in Harlem's Paradise, the Harlem's Paradise Club. And then he told, like, whoever told him that to like tell her to leave. Tell her I don't want to see her. It's just like, wow, he's become cold already. So I think the show's been left in an interesting place. The way Mariah died, flipping hell. Like the fact that it wasn't Bushmaster who killed her. You know what I mean? After all those attempts, it was her own daughter. And that was crazy because I didn't see it coming. Like literally when it started happening, I was like, but wait, what? And then I was like, oh no, the kiss. She kissed her, and that's why. So yeah, man, it was just like a lot of dark stuff happens in the show, and like, it was mad. It was a good watch, and I do wish I'd done this video kind of shortly after watching it, because this video would probably be a lot better and a lot less vague. And also the accents, like the Jamaican accents, I thought they were pretty good, considering I've definitely seen worse on TV. And I know some people really didn't like him and thought they were pretty bad. But I think in the grand scheme of things, they're definitely not the worst that I've heard. Didn't need subtitles to understand them because I used to have a West Indian neighbor, like hardcore, like super, born over there, lived in the UK for a long time, but he still had like the lingo 100%. So I grew up having to understand that accent. So yeah, it was fine for me. I don't know if it was fine for other people. I'm guessing for some it may be, for others who haven't been exposed to that accent, maybe not. But I generally thought they were pretty good. I didn't think they were that bad. Like I said, I definitely heard worse. Anything else? No, I can't think of anything else. So yes, I should have done this overview a long time ago. The show would have been more fresh in my mind, and I would have had kind of like a lot more probably to say, but I think I got kind of roundabouts the majority of the things that I'd like to say about the show. I enjoyed it a lot. I prefer it over season 1. Not that season 1 isn't good, but I feel like this had a better climax and a better payoff as well at the end, whereas season 1 with the whole kind of like Diamondback suit, that Hammer Tech suit, was a little bit of a letdown, whereas this was much more kind of like intense and sneaky, and there was just loads of stuff going on. So yeah, I love where all the characters have been left. I can't wait to see where they take them to, and I think I'm going to enjoy Luke Cage season 3, because that's definitely going to happen. And yeah, so let me know as to what you thought of the show. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, stick around and watch another video if you want, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.